All right, what is going on, guys? It's Adam, a.k.a. Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Today, we have a great show planned for you, so stick around. There is calling tonight, so make sure to call in at 224-400-MARF, and also be aware the website is going to have all sorts of great stuff tonight, so make sure to head over there as well. We'll be right back with this live show right after this. Nothing in this show should be considered legal, medical, or financial advice. The views of the callers can differ considerably and do not necessarily reflect my opinion, Dex's opinion, or anyone else who works with the show. You should always do your own research and consult with professionals. The internet is full of fake news, so please take everything with a grain of salt. If you have not already, it helps us out if you end up going through any of our affiliates, and it helps you out if you end up protecting yourself against cybercrime. NordVPN is one of the best and one of the easiest to use. If you do not have a virtual private network, it protects your IP address, which is your online identity, which actually connects to your real address and everything else. It also connects to you. If you know anything about how they are data logging and basically getting your profiles down, you can prevent that by having a VPN. Nord is, again, one of the easiest. Download it. It's like an on switch and off switch. All you have to do. Go to marfooglenews.com/VPN. Not only will you get a giant discount on this, but you will also be helping us. I appreciate your support, and I appreciate everyone that goes through any of our affiliates. Can't say thank you enough. All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam, a.k.a. Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. Today, we have a ton to go over in a short amount of time, plus callers, so pay attention. This is really, really awesome. Make sure to go over to the website, marfooglenews.com. Not only can you see a full bibliography of all of the sources, every single article, tweet, video, picture, document that we're going to show you here today will be over on the website, and there is a giveaway still going on for an off-grid bag, a $380 bag that doubles as a Faraday bag for all of your electronic devices. Now, go over to Trouble from Above, Satellites Taken for Granted, and once you click on that, you will see that it brings you to a full bibliography of all of our sources. That way, you know exactly where it is coming from. Now, remember, you just look for today's thumbnail, Satellites Taken for Granted, and Trouble from Above. There you'll see the giveaway, and you'll see all of the articles that we're going to talk about. Plus, in the web only and overflow, the stuff that we couldn't fit in the show, there's a lot of stuff that is very hot. Make sure to go down there and check it out. Lots of great stuff. It takes a long time to put all of this together, so make sure to utilize it. Again, if you missed the show, go over that, and you'll be able to get in-depth news collected from all over the planet. All right, and then let's bring in my co-host/internet brother, Dex James. What is going on, and how are you doing?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I am doing just great today.
So remember, you can call in at 224-400-MARF. There is a lot of big stuff today, so stay tuned. It is, I would say the second grouping is probably the craziest, so check it out. Biblical insect swarms spur Oregon push to fight pests. Of course, we've talked a lot about all of the literal swarms and biblical plagues going on. And in fact, the other day, we were talking about how all of these different kind of plagues are coming out of nowhere. And not just the bugs and things like this, but, of course, diseases and everything else that's popping out of the woodwork. It says, driving down a windy canyon road in northern Oregon rangeland, Jordan Maley and April Amott are on the lookout for a Mormon cricket, giant insects that can ravage crops. There's one right there, Amut says. It says they're not hard to spot. The insects, which can grow larger than 2 inches, so that big, blot the asphalt. It says Mormon crickets are not new to Oregon. And by the way, how long do you think before they rename those, by the way? Native to western North America, their name dates back to the 1800s when they ruined the fields of the Mormon settlers in Utah. But amidst dry and warming temperatures, conditions favored by the insects, outbreaks across the West have worsened. It says the Oregon legislature last year allocated $5 million to assess the problem and set up a Mormon cricket and grasshopper suppression program. It says an additional $1.2 million for the program was approved earlier this month. It's part of a larger effort by state and federal authorities in the U.S. West to deal with an explosion of grasshoppers and Mormon crickets that has hit from Montana to Nevada. But some environmental groups oppose the programs, which rely on the aerial spraying of pesticides across large swaths of land. Malley and Oregon State University Extension agent Anna Mott, a resident of the small Columbia River town of Arlington, are both involved in Mormon cricket outreach and surveying efforts in the area. Imagine that, telling your friends, I'm part of the Mormon outreach, right? Mormon cricket outreach. I wonder if he goes door to door knocking and looking for crickets. Can I talk to you about the Mormon cricket outreach for a moment? Do you have time? In 2017, Arlington saw its largest Mormon cricket outbreak since the 1940s. The roads were greasy with the squashed entrails of the huge insects which damaged nearby crops. The one thing I think about is the insect theory, which talks about how insects are disappearing. Meanwhile, biblical insects, such as the locusts and things like that, they are just absolutely going nuts. Meanwhile, bees are disappearing. Insects all over the planet are disappearing. And again, that's not just something I'm saying. That's something that you can actually look up pretty much any country and say, where are all the bugs going or disappearing insects? And you'll see that there are a lot of people talking about this. In fact, all over the planet, insects are disappearing at an alarming rate. Why that matters is because insects are part of the food chain, and of course bees are a part of our planet and how it runs and everything else. They bring, of course, all of the pollen from flower to flower, and they basically keep life going. And bees, of course, was extremely big in the news, but all the other insects haven't got much coverage. Now, the windshield theory is, of course, referencing the fact that people remember they used to have a whole lot more bugs on their windshield when they would drive down the freeway. And people started noticing, they're like, I have no bugs on my car. And if you remember, there were all sorts of things. You could get those bras for your car and all these things. And if you've ever had to clean dead bugs off of your car, then you'd know. But again, around here in Washington, it's like we don't ever get bugs splattered on our car. It's weird. Maybe you do. Maybe you go in different parts. I believe my friend in Yakima could probably answer for the east part of Washington. But here, it's a whole lot less than it used to be. It used to be covered if you went on a road trip. What do you think? Let me know in the comments down below. And have you seen this? Do you have pictures of this? Have you taken videos of it? Are you from Montana to Nevada? Do you have actual footage of this going crazy? Send it to us or go to marfooglenews.com/playmyvideo. You can submit your video there and we'll play it here. All right. And then remember, you can call in on this or any subject at 2244-006273. That number is scrolling right down below me. You can grab that there. Catherine Wilson says, God bless Marf, Dex, Mods, and fam. Well, thank you, Catherine Wilson, and thank you so much for supporting Independent. Faded Adam, thank you for subscribing. Daniel O'Brien, thank you for being one of the last ones out, along with retired U.S. Army, who said, on alert is upgraded, readiness and calling units is going. I talked briefly about you. You are not the only one. There are several military members saying that a lot of people are being called up, including specialists. So something, at the very least, there is a mission that is about to happen. Marky Sparky, Marfoogle News is the only news I use. Thank you for being the last one out last night. And then Irish Rebel, thank you so much for your support. Again, appreciate you. And again, I believe I missed you yesterday. So thank you. Dr. Casey, you are my favorite source of news for more than 2 years. I am a dentist in Georgia. I am so appreciative of you and Dex. Well, again, at some point, hopefully you'll get to meet us over in Georgia or in Washington or wherever we may be. All right, and then we have Delta pilots to protest nationwide for improved pay, protections, and scheduling. There's been a lot of issues with, of course, all of the airlines, and we've been watching all of the weird stuff going on, such as all over the place we're hearing about, bomb dogs basically sniffing every single passenger in several airports, which to me says maybe they're at higher alert, or they're watching for something, or maybe they have things that we don't know about as the public. But then this is a little bit different. This is actually the employees getting together, supposedly, and saying, hey, we need more money. Delta Airlines pilots nationwide will picket for better pay, protections, and scheduling on Thursday. Hundreds of off-duty pilots are scheduled to attend picketing events at the following airports: Atlanta, DTW, LAX, MSP, JFK, Seattle, and SLC. A press release reads, it says Delta pilots were frontline leaders during CV and the recovery. We helped our airline recover by flying record amounts of overtime and spending more time away from our families than ever before to get our customers safely to their destinations, said Captain Jason Ambrosi, chairman of the Delta Master Executive Council, a unit of Airline Pilots Association. It says it's time for management to recognize our contributions. If Delta can invest billions in foreign airlines and its subsidiaries, it must invest similarly in its pilots. So it is messed up, and I'm sure we have pilots here. In fact, I know we have at least a few commercial pilots. Are you a Delta pilot, and are you going to participate in this strike or picket or protest of sorts? And do you agree? I believe most people would, especially with inflation, how it's going. And, of course, flying really never stops. Or if it does, we're probably covering it. Do you have inside info on this? Let me know at, of course, 2244-006273. And again, just to sum it up, the pilots are seeking to resume contract negotiations that were paused indefinitely during the CV demdemic. It says, today is an important milestone for the Delta pilots. It's been 2.5 years since our contract became amendable and 3.5 years since Delta pilots had a pay raise. That's horrible. If you think about that, having the last pay raise, a year before all of the stuff went down, that's crazy. Or 6 months before all of this stuff went down with everything, I'm sure pilots are pretty pissed. Think about how much, just look at gas going up in 1 year, let alone 3 years ago, getting it in places under $2. And, $2 was kind of the big kind of, it really didn't go below at a certain point. And then, of course, you have this where it's now $6, $7, $8. Think about those pilots off on when they're off, and their pay has not gone up at all. So that's pretty bad. And then why is the U.S. military struggling to recruit young Americans? So there is a record, and I believe, so what has happened now, we are hitting a record. Almost every branch is having a problem getting recruiting basically up and running. It says every branch of the U.S. military is struggling to meet its fiscal year 2022 recruiting goals, say multiple U.S. military and defense officials, and numbers attained by NBC News show both a record low percentage of young Americans eligible to serve and an even tinier fraction willing to consider it. So we covered just last week, they basically added neck and hand tattoos into the mix of acceptable tattoos that you can have for certain branches. That says right there that they're basically starting to get desperate, where they're changing their rules in general. The tattoo thing has been a huge thing. For years and years, they have gone back and forth on it. When I was 18, 19 years old, you couldn't go in with arm tattoos at a certain point. And then they relaxed it, then they brought it back, and then they've bounced back and forth. But again, even just an arm stripe would not let you get in there if it was below the sleeve. And then they relaxed it, then they went back to something else. And all the branches have had kind of a back and forth thing with this. But it is a big deal because there are people that honestly probably would have died for their country or been somewhere or lost legs or whatever, but they didn't let them in because they had ink on them. So there's definitely some things going on. They definitely want more people to go join. It says the officials said the Pentagon's top leaders are now scrambling for ways to find new recruits to fill out the ranks of the all-volunteer force. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin and Deputy Secretary of Defense Kathleen Hicks consider the shortfall a serious issue, said the officials, and have been meeting on it frequently with other leaders. It says this is the start of a long drought for military recruiting. I wonder why. Well, if you go to the streets and actually ask, I think that U.S. pride, of course, has gone way down with certain cities. And that's because they're heavily pushing that, we're such a bad place and all of this. personally, I think that there's still going to be a ton of in fact, the guys that are joining, the girls that are joining right now, they're mostly these, either they are super, super proud and they want to go fight, or they may be in a situation where they got recruited, or they may be in a situation where, hey, it's free college, it's this and that. For whatever reason they may join, it's like now they're basically running out of people to grab. So they're now opening their recruiting measures, and they are also basically going overdrive to schools and different places. In fact, I just heard from my nephew that the recruiters are coming like 6 to 8 recruiters to some California schools, and they're just, nobody is budging. Nobody wants to join the military because they don't want to fight after the last 20 years of crap, right? Well, at some point we're going to need them, and I bet you when things really do go down, and there'll probably be some big event that ends up having people join in masses. Who knows? That's not what I'm hoping, but that's seems like what happens, right? And then mysterious lights in San Diego. So let's go back to the mysterious lights spotted in sky over San Diego. It said that San Diego residents reported seeing mysterious lights hovering in the sky Monday night. It was not immediately clear what the lights were, a plane, space junk, something more sinister. San Diego residents were left scratching their heads after spotting the unusual sight. Eyewitness photos captured the mysterious bright lights over the Pacific Ocean. Videos of the lights were also posted up to social media. Apparently, there wasn't any commercial or military aircraft in the radar in the area, so the source of the lights will remain a mystery, at least for now. So I will make a call out to any of you. Any of you that may have video or pictures of this, please send it to us. Or if you have a video, of course, marfooglenews.com/playmyvideo, and we will play it on the show. Other than that, though, if you have pictures of this or anything in the sky, any kind of crazy sighting that you believe other people should see, then make sure to go over there and submit your video. I also want to point out, if you see this, people saw it from all over and at different heights. This is very spooky. Dex, I don't know if you saw this, and I know you're probably on the phone, but it looks like it's almost hovering over something. Now, first thought would be, is that a really tall ship with searchlights? That would be the most reasonable explanation, but if you see the different angles of this, and we'll attach this article, which has a few of the other examples there, over on marfooglenews.com, you'll see that it doesn't make sense to be a ship on some of the other angles. On this one, it almost looks like a ship, and you can almost see like where its shadow, it's like lighting up the whole of a big ship. But again, most people that saw it say that they did not think that it was a ship and that they were moving all around erratically. So what do you think? Do you have videos of it? This was off of San Diego. Was it a military ship? Like they said, there was nothing in radar. So was it something that, was Vlad or Xi coming right up to our waters? That's what I think about. If that looks like some sort of big ship, and there's no radar, there's no transponder going that tells us what it is, it very well could be one of our enemies, or it could be a drone, it could be something that we don't know. So we're following it, and if anything new comes out on it, we will update. All right. And then remember, you can call in 2244-006273 if you haven't already. Thank you again, everybody that just popped in. Stevie, and then another 1,000 just popped in. Thank you, guys. I appreciate everybody that has just popped in. Catherine Wilson, God bless Marf, Dex, Mods, and Fam. And then Daniel O'Brien, thank you again. 46 migrants have been found perished inside of a semi-truck in San Antonio, and 16 have been hospitalized, authorities say. So this is a subject that is very touchy, but this is basically the trafficking of humans, right? And what happens is they get put in these compartments, or they get put in the back of trucks, and on a hot day or something like this can lead to extreme tragedy. And this is what a lot of people are missing on this. This is a very dangerous thing to come over. It does not say, I don't believe it said how many. There was 4 children have been taken to nearby. It doesn't say, though, how many of the people that were perished How many of them were children? That's the thing I don't get. If it would take, I guess it would take something. I'm not going to put myself in somebody else's shoes. Depending on what country they come from, there are places where I guess you would do anything and everything. But some places where, you know, you see that it's not. Well, I guess it's not as bad to the point where you are putting your child in danger. There are some places where I could see doing this if, trying to put myself in the shoes of somebody else in a horrible country that is war-torn or something. But most of the places that they're coming from, I guess, would you put your children in the situation like this if you had to? It's just really bad to hear that kids were even involved in this one. Dex?
Well, Adam, I often wonder how many people, when they get to that point in the journey, really thought that's what they were going to be doing, right? They probably heard stories. They probably hear about all the great things on the other side, but do they really know what's going to happen in between, right? And sometimes what happens in between is pretty horrific, like we're seeing here. And it's a shame that this kind of stuff happens. And I really think that people don't just sign up for this unless it's so bad where they are that they think that this is worth the risk. But I wonder how many don't even realize what they're getting into, and they've trekked across, maybe all the way across multiple countries just to get to that position. And then they can't really turn back. It's like they've made it almost there. So the last thing is, get inside this box, you'll be okay. And it's like, I don't know. But at this point, what do you do, right?
Well, and even our White House and all the officials have now basically admitted that the system is broken. And actually, they said it was broken. I believe the vice president even said it was, which, by the way, isn't it weird that we haven't heard anything about Kamala in ever? Like, there's no headlines whatsoever of Kamala. I just think that's weird. It's virtually nothing. Unless you're, like, actually trying to go search her out, she's just on ghost mode. But as far as the stuff here, there's nobody here that can really answer this. Or if you do have a system, then I wish they could put it in. What if people were at the edge of the border and they set up this place where you could start working for 6 months or some sort of path to get citizenship legally that also was safe, and that this. Basically, what's happening here is the cartels are making out like bandits, and the cartels are the reason for a lot of these deaths. They're putting them in dangerous situations. It's like, and we know that the cartels are tied with agencies. We know that they're tied with, CIA and all of these other things. So part of this, it's like my thought is that some of this can be manufactured, raised, heightened, depending on what we say and what the government says and what happens. What are your thoughts on it? Let me know. Call me at 224-400-MARF. Again, that's 224-400-6273. It's really sad to hear about that. 46 people perished in one place. That's bad. And then before we talk about U.S. defense sending aircraft through the Taiwan Strait as Xi grows increasingly aggressive. In fact, we talked about this. We kind of called this actually, I believe we called this the update a day late. Before we talk about that, I do want to remind you, this whole show is actually powered by a solar energy generator, a Flex 1500. In fact, I did this for 4 months with just one battery. I just added a second battery for, of course, being able to use this longer. But this is a solar generator, which means it's absolutely silent. It does not require gas, and you can charge it using solar panels. It is extremely, extremely high quality. This is one of the most coveted solar generators out there. Energy is one of the top brands in the world. And again, this is one of the most amazing systems because it is flexible. That's why they call it the 1500 Flex, or the Flex 1500, is because you can expand it. You not only can add a battery, you can add 96 batteries. And you can even add mods in between. They actually stack or go sideways, and you can actually add a mod to where you can actually triple the amount of input. This is unheard of in a ton of different devices. Basically, when you put that middle box in, instead of plugging in 4 panels, you can actually plug in 12. So it is an awesome system. Every time you go over there right now for the last month, we've had up to $170 off on different packages. and it is absolutely one of the best life-saving things out there as far as generators. Will save you from rolling blackouts, will save you from all sorts of things, whether there's an earthquake, a tornado, a hurricane, a storm, or, of course, if SHTF happens, it is definitely going to be something good to have. Go to marfooglenews.com/energy. The ship date is just days away, so get over there. A lot of people waited on this because of the long ship date. There was lithium parts that were coming from parts of the world that were basically not coming. So now the ship date is very close. Get over there, marfooglenews.com/energy with an I. All right, let's get our next caller on. Looks like she is live. Let's see here. It looks like, oh no, I'm sorry. We have Ed, first-time caller.
Hey, Adam, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Ed, what's going on?
Oh, nothing much. Fantastic to speak with you, Marv. I just want to take a quick second to talk about how I got my wife into prepping and preparedness. I know it's kind of one of those things that we have to be discreet about, don't we, sometimes in certain situations.
Well, it's kind of crazy that we do, yeah.
Definitely, yeah, we don't want that. So I started dating my wife about 6 years ago. And one of the very first things, I'm very fortunate. She's an amazing woman. I didn't want her to think I was a lunatic or a cuckoo. So over the years, I just started planting little seed stacks, if you follow me. So if something would come up on TV, a storm over here or a power outage over there, I'd drop those little hints. Oh man, maybe it'd be good if we had a generator for a scenario like that, or food shortages or toilet paper shortages or whatever, anything like that. I would just take that opportunity to plant little seeds, and slowly and surely over the years, she kind of started accepting it. But we're now to a point where she doesn't really participate in it, but she allows me to do it, and she doesn't give me too much grief about it. So I didn't want to get into a long rant. I know you got a lot of people that want to.
Well, no,
talk, Mark.
so
I just wanted to throw in my 2 cents.
No, so Ed, a lot of people talk about this, how their significant other or somebody in their family does not approve of them prepping. Now, there's a difference between responsibly prepping. And so say there's a couple and the husband all of a sudden says, we need to sell our house and move out to the middle of nowhere. I actually know somebody who that kind of happened with, and with Prepper Nurse. He moved, and what he says is that his wife didn't really want to live out in the country. He had this dream of living off the land, and she didn't. So I believe that was part of why they kind of went their own ways, and now he did what he dreamed to do. He went off and he lives on his own land. He's self-sufficient. He has generators. He has food, and he grows his own food and all that. But you hear that story and you go, well, what could have been done differently, or could there have been a way to get this person on board? As far as, I think you did the right thing as far as the seeds, planting these seeds, and that's why we provide a lot of the stuff on the website, so you can use these to actually get people to understand there's a lot of bad things going on. It's all perspective. You don't want to focus 100% on the negative stuff, but you do want to show that there are families just like you in other places going through absolute hell because they didn't do something simple. As far as responsible prepping, somebody having a generator to back up their power, people don't even think about that. People don't think to have extra food or water, and that's crazy to me. As a prepper, but they've had this stigma. Don't you think that they have a stigma around prepping, like you're some sort of cuckoo?
They do, Adam. They do, and I've been prepping since I was a kid in the Boy Scouts. And this is embarrassing too, Adam. What really got me to kicking into high gear was the 2012 scare. Do you remember the silliness when the Aztecs were going to come out the pyramids and get us all, or whatever it was in 2012? That got me to kick it into high gear. I never told her that story, but
funny enough,
I agree with you.
We almost died that year. We almost all lost. The largest solar flare barely missed us, and if it would have hit, it would have knocked our whole grid down. It could have ravaged our entire planet. It was a giant solar flare. So everybody said we got extremely lucky, right? 2012.
I think we get lucky a lot more times than people are really aware of.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, Ed. And as far as, thinking we're a cuckoo, I think it's because, they don't want people prepared. And by they, I mean the people at the very top do not want a bunch of people that are self-sufficient. They want us to be worker bees. They want us to go to our 9 to 5. They want us to clock in, clock out, go home, watch Netflix, and then repeat the same cycle. They don't want us being self-sufficient, because that's if once you're self-sufficient and you're on your own plot and you're doing everything yourself, you're basically like your own governing power. They don't have any control over you once you get off of the grid, once you get off of credit cards, once you get off all this stuff. Once you are off that, then they have zero control over you, especially if you're away from TV and social media. There's no way to control you whatsoever.
Not at all. And I think a lot of people, that's a great point, Adam, and I agree with you on it. I think a lot of people have that normalcy bias also, don't they? They optimistically hope they're going to wake up every single day and everything's going to be fine, right as rain, go get their Starbucks or whatever it is they're into, and life will carry them. But I think this community is pretty clever, and I think we all see the big picture, and I think we're ahead of the curve. So I would just tell everybody to keep being discreet about things and keep doing what you got to do to make sure you and your loved ones are good to go. Also, like you said, not letting it consume your life, but still putting some genuine effort into it.
Well, and by the way, when you talk to family about a plan, you should bring up the fact that the government has done it. Say, where do you work? Okay, you work here, you work there. Okay, what do they have in every break room? They have an emergency plan. It doesn't matter where you work, it's required. Why is it required? Because things happen and things go bad. As far as people calling stuff like this fear porn, I think that that's part of this whole, like, you're cuckoo or you're this. When people say fear porn, they're saying they're afraid of something, and they're also saying that this is scary to bring you to this other place, or this is scary to get views, or this is this. When really, most of us are going to be on our own doing this kind of research on our own, and that's why I think a lot of us have collected here, as far as making it to where it's a taboo thing and that you're crazy for thinking something is going to go bad, or you're pessimistic. We're not pessimistic. Once you get prepped, you start getting optimistic, and if anything happens, you're the one who's set. And all of those people that were saying you were pessimistic and all that, they're knocking at your door. They're completely screwed. Look at Hurricane Katrina. Look at everything else. In Hurricane Katrina, the police, they went and saved their own grandmas and moms and spouses. The sheriffs and things, they just took off their badge and they went and grabbed their moms out of nursing homes. They left their posts. It was full martial law. That was the one time in the last few years that happened, and it was an absolute disaster. We had Fugel fam that were, of course, there, able-bodied, who, again, I don't know where she's at, but she went through a harrowing story in Hurricane Katrina. She was a nurse. So everybody has this thought that the police or the government or somebody else is going to come in and save you. No one's going to save you. If they say, hey, I'm here with the government and we're here to help, everybody knows what that means.
Ronald Reagan.
Yep.
Ronald Reagan, correct.
Yep. Yeah, it's never a good thing. Well, thank you again, Ed, for calling in, and I appreciate your view on things and a great message.
Thank you so much, Adam. I'm really ecstatic that I got to speak to you on my first try. Love the show. Hope all's well with you and the family, and hope the Fugel family is all good as well.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Thanks for being a part of it. All right. And then
take care, Adam.
We will talk to you later. First time call, don't make it your last. And then NMC, thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. Bill Bixley. What? If that's your real name, that's a cool name. Bill Bixley. It sounds like a reporter on TV or something. I'm Bill Bixley. Let's see here. A better reporter name than Marfoogle, that's for sure. Okay. And then thank you for chat, sticking with the positivity, and everybody's pushing each other up. Again, don't be afraid of this stuff. You should be aware of it, because then it takes a lot of the fear out. I think that's part of the movement. They remember when they said there was conspiracy theorists in general. Where that came from? Do you know where that came from? That came from the government and from operations, basically making anyone who questioned what was going on one of those, right? Deep state of mind, Raquel, are you ready? And they want to let us know, they want to make us think that everything is covered, that they got us. But in every big event, we find out the shortfalls of every Cascadia subduction zone happens, we're totally screwed. I went to Washington, FEMA Region 10. They said, we have no supplies here. The gentleman guaranteed me, said, oh yeah, when it happens, we have to get out-of-state help. That's why there's 21 states basically preparing for this event that's only supposed to affect the 3 states, Washington, Oregon, and California. There's 21 states preparing because people are going to be walking from the West Coast inland. So when that happens, you'll find all of the flaws in every system that will not work, including freeways that will collapse and make them basically a parking lot. So everybody should have a plan. It's responsible when you're telling your spouse stuff. Just say, hey, there's lots of things. And it can be regional. You can use something like an article or something you find to actually try to help convince and say it's a responsible thing. Hey, we have car insurance. We have life insurance. We have house insurance. We have fire insurance. We have insurance on some of our electronics. Our TV is insured by Best Buy. Why don't we have extra food and water? Why don't we have extra power? Why don't we have something backing up our grid? And use the last time your power went out for more than a day. If you have, most of us have had that happen. If you use that and say, hey, wouldn't it have been nice if we didn't have to go spend $150 on a hotel or something? Or now with inflation, I haven't been in a hotel in a long time, but $8,000 a night for a hotel, at the Days Inn. So just saying, you can use that all to your advantage. Bible Talk 777, we need the chip in hand to pay real estate taxes and personal property or lose it. Not to mention buy food or water. Oh, will need. Okay, I was like, we need. I'm like, what? Will need. As far as the chip thing, we've covered it over the last 3 years, and it is definitely going up in popularity. The young people want a chip that they can scan. Why do you think that they're getting you used to tap to pay? I was at the worst, like just downright. There was 4 people just nodded out in front of the store. Worst store. Woman goes in and tries to buy something. And she got, what kind of establishment doesn't have tap to pay? And that, like, just super rude, super just aggressive. And I'm like, people are actually used to tap to pay to where the point where, you're a ghetto establishment if you don't have tap to pay. They're getting used to tap to pay because they want you to be used to just going swipe and it's done. That's why places like Target are even making it easier to where they don't even say approved or whatever. It just says thanks and gives you your receipt. You go. Doesn't matter if it's $200 or $1,000. It just says thanks. They're making everybody used to it so they can get you on the all digital. It's way easier. It's way faster. All so good. All right, and then by the way, thank you, Dex. It looks like you've been working hard on the back end to get us a couple callers lined up. It looks like we have Joe and Marion on deck. U.S. defends sending aircraft through the Taiwan Strait as Xi grows increasingly aggressive. The U.S. military brushed off complaints from Xi over sending U.S. aircraft to fly over the Taiwan Strait on Tuesday. It says that Xi has long claimed sovereignty over Taiwan and the Taiwan Strait and a relatively narrow strip of ocean between the island of Taiwan and the Xi mainland. The Xi military has frequently sent planes into the area testing Taiwan's air defense zone. The U.S. sent a P-8A anti-submarine aircraft into the strait on Friday, leading Xi to send its own planes, Reuters reported. It says U.S. Navy vessels and aircraft routinely interact with foreign warships and aircraft while operating throughout the region. So, by the way, Dex, now that we have things lined up, as far as, we basically, there was this plane, and then we even said about 3 different things yesterday that it takes about a day for them to respond. And I know you got it. It'll take you a second to pop in here. Thank you.
Yeah, well, yes, Adam. So this continues to happen, and this continues as we mentioned, this sort of tit for tat or back and forth along the strait, as well as the South GC area. All of that is sort of been like this continuous back and forth, and we keep seeing it amplify more in the last week and a half, 2 weeks, specifically as there have been a lot of words thrown around, a lot of threats thrown around, a lot of challenges put out from both sides. about, what is going to happen next. And as we continue to see this escalate, it's a sign of where things are going. They're not heading into the right direction. They're heading into the wrong direction. So you can't look at this and say, oh, well, everything looks like it's going to be great. The way they keep amplifying this is just leading to one overall conclusion that something is about to kick off over there. So, that's my opinion on it.
Well, I agree with you on that. And as far as having the anti-submarine plane fly over that specifically at the timing of everything that was going on, especially the meetings and the comments by the Morning Post over there, it's kind of like maybe they were seeing if there were scouts or something. Maybe they were there for a reason. Don't know. But I do know what is ahead of us looks like. Essentially, all of the countries, India, Xi, Vlad, and others, are really, really getting really tight. And they are practicing and they are drilling for a big one. And then Vlad's Medvedev, and sorry if I totally butcher that, says any NATO encroachment on Crimea would lead to WW3. It says any encroachment on the peninsula by a NATO member state could amount to a declaration of war on Vlad, which could lead to WW3. That was, of course, Vladia's former president, Dmitry Medvedev, as quoted saying on Monday. It says, for us, it's part of Vladia, and that means forever. Any attempt to encroach on Crimea is a declaration of war against our country. Medvedev told the news website, Augmenti Ifakti. It says, and if this is done by NATO member state, this means conflict with the entire North Atlantic Alliance, a WW3, a complete catastrophe. So this is the former president saying this. Obviously, we need to watch if anything happens there. But one thing that we would like to mention is that was in kind of the plans going forward. There were plans of trying to take it back that they mentioned about 3.5 weeks ago. So now all of a sudden that's being said by the president. It says Medvedev, now deputy chairman of Vladia's Security Council, also said that if Finland and Sweden joined NATO, Vlad would strengthen its borders and would be ready for retaliatory steps. And that could include the prospect of installing Islander hypersonic missiles on their threshold. So putting those Iskander missiles right there, that's a big deal. And obviously they have talked about specifically Sweden and Finland joining NATO, and they're very pissed. If you remember at the very beginning of this, everybody was confused why this was going on and everything else. Some agreed on the side of, well, basically every place around has turned into NATO. It would be sort of if there was a Vladian and Xi group that was right on our border in Canada, in Mexico. It's being able to put their military basically everywhere around us. It would be, if you just try to look at the other side of it, pretty, it wouldn't be exactly favorable. But we're the U.S., we're the big bad guys, and we're able to do this with the U.K. and with all of these Baltic states. So this is a huge deal, him saying this. Hopefully it doesn't turn into anything, because Sweden and Finland are cleared to join NATO after Turkey drops objections. Now, Erdogan was actually saying basically that he was objecting. All of a sudden, my guess is an amount of money just got deposited, and he no longer has objections. Or maybe he has a new security firm that is going to protect him for the rest of his life, or something happened that changed his mind. It wasn't a Crowder video. So this is pretty wild. Now, if they are cleared to go, they're not in yet. They're basically, that was what was holding it back. If they join, obviously that's going to escalate things, or at least that's what they're saying over on the Vlad side. What do you think? Again, let us know in the comments down below. It says the leaders of Turkey, Sweden, and Finland have signed a trilateral agreement that will clear the way for the two Nordic states to join NATO and clearing objections from Istanbul over the application. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg announced the deal on Tuesday evening ahead of President JB's scheduled meeting with the Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan. It says, I'm pleased to announce that we now have an agreement that paves the way for Finland and Sweden to join NATO. Turkey, Finland, and Sweden have signed a memorandum that addresses Turkey's concerns, including around arms exports and the fight against terrorism. So, do you have information on this? Are you an expert in this? And you want to call 224-400-MARF. Otherwise, if you want to leave something of value in our comments, if you want to leave a positive statement or just a message, put it down in the comments below. Make sure to comment. And if you can, press the like button. If you see the work we put into the show and you value it, please try to get us to get shared out to other people so we can bring more people in. Bible Talk, again, thank you so much. And then I did miss a few other people here. We're going to go into the main subject here. So I'm going to pull up the chat for this one because I do want to see what you guys think of this. And in fact, for those of you that did not watch the Marfoogle News video, I want you specifically to pay attention to this. And I'm going to read part of this, and I want you to give me your first thought on it. And don't everybody ruin what I said in the other video. I want to get your first impressions of what you think this is. Keep in mind, they are saying something that is very obviously like, oh, who cares? We could just Google that. It says, Vladia publishes Pentagon coordinates, says Western satellites, quote, work for our enemy. It says that Vladia's space agency published the coordinates of Western defense headquarters, including the U.S. Pentagon and the venue of NATO's summit on Tuesday, saying Western satellite operators were working with Russian enemy. It says Dmitry Rogozin, head of Roscosmos, told the Vladian RIA Novosti news agency, it says the entire conglomerate of private and state orbital groupings is now working exclusively for our enemy. Basically saying the U.S. and basically every company, all of the satellites are now working to fight with UKR against them. They're mad. This is kind of saying also that it's a direct kind of, you guys are fighting with them. It says members of the U.S.-led NATO alliance make no secret of the fact that they are sending weapons to help UKR resist Vlad's invasion. It says the U.S. satellite imagery company Maxar, whose clients include the U.S. Defense Department, has several times published pictures it has taken over UKR and Vladia since before the invasion began in February. They included images of Vladia's military buildup near UKR at a time when it was denying any intention to go in. It says today the NATO summit opens in Madrid, at which Western countries will declare Vladia their worst enemy. Rogozin wrote on his Telegram social media channel, it says Roscosmos publishes satellite photographs of the summit venue and the very decision centers that support UKR nationalists. It says the posting included Russian satellite pictures of the summit venue in Madrid, the Pentagon, the White House in Washington, British government buildings in central London, the German Chancellery, Reichstag Parliament, building in Berlin, NATO headquarters in Brussels, and the French president's residence and other government buildings in Paris. So it says at the same time, we are giving the coordinates of the objects just in case. They put out coordinates to all of these important targets and said just in case. Now, what did you think? Let's see here. Let's see here. Who owed their internet away from the rest of the world? By the way, so tit for tat, NATO unanimous, which 29 voted Finland and Sweden in. Yes, they want and can destroy our satellites at any time. P. Ben, thank you. That is one thing. Vlad is making a threat. I found Waldo. Yeah, and they always make threats. But again, this is something, so I'll tell you what I think here, and Dex will tell you what he thinks. So Dex, if you are on deck, anybody can Google these coordinates, And any country can go online and go to Google Maps and go check that out. Are they saying that there won't be a Google Maps to go check this out? They're saying just in case. They're giving the coordinates. Are they saying there won't be satellites to go look these coordinates up? So if they want to put the coordinates into their ICBMs or whatever else, well, they just got them from this post and they're going to write them down or something, right? I mean, it's kind of stupid, but it's kind of like, are they hinting? Of course they know that anybody can go get the coordinates for these places. It is obviously saying these are our targets at the same time. In other words, RJ, the first thing I said actually was, we know where you live, right? We know where you live, basically. They also put that, and they literally did it for, somebody said, don't be a Debbie doxer. Yeah, they doxed the French president. Shannon Crow. Bitter Critter says direct threat. Yeah. So this is getting really absurd, and it doesn't feel right. Something is definitely happening here, and most of you all know this. So that's why we are trying to look at it and be positive and say, hey, this is taken for granted. Everything we have around us, we should be grateful for, but also do not take it for granted. It could disappear at any time. That is why we've been pushing this for 4 years. Be prepared for anything, absolutely anything. Our military groups have never had so much chatter in them. We have people deploying all over. We have 300,000 on high alert. We have 100,000 troops in Europe right now, all over in the border states. There is definitely a huge distraction going on with everything else. Nobody wants to talk about WW3. And the people that do, they're being called names. But unfortunately, this is part of life, and it's part of it seems to be part of a plan by the very, very top people to redistribute power. Something is going on. By the way, the largest redistribution of wealth just happened in the last 2 years. In all of our history, the largest redistribution of wealth over, both since 2019. When that all started, money just started flowing from one side to the other. Now everybody's broke. It is incredible. I mean, we're watching history. All right, and then Dex, well, do you want to comment on this before we go over and get over to the phones?
Well, yeah, the one thing that I mentioned in the other show, but I still think it's important, is the fact that they have threatened the satellites numerous times, and they said it's the first thing they're going to go after, right? And we know for a fact that they use even our GPS systems in addition to their own coordination systems, but they even use ours. They've found Garmin systems, like handheld Garmin's in downed aircraft and in other vehicles and things like that. So we know that they leverage that. And so as it relates to this is as much of a piece of Ganda as much as a written or spoken sort of threat to NATO or to the rest of the world, as much as it is potentially a description of what they're planning on doing or a hint at what they're planning on doing, right?
And that's why we're obviously looking at everything, and you have to kind of think about it from multiple angles. Tell me what you guys think in the comments down below. I'd love to read what you all think about this story in particular. If you have watched this far, then I would really appreciate you commenting, and I'll go down and I will read and reply. All right, and then looks like we have Joseph on the phone. Well, you get Joseph on the phone. I do want to remind everyone, if you haven't already, make sure to go over and check out EMP Shield. This is an actual solution. If you do want to protect yourself against an electromagnetic pulse, it is a possibility, and now it is one of the largest threats to the U.S. and to other countries. You can go over and protect yourself with an EMP Shield. This is the same company that has worked with agencies like DOD, DHS, and, of course, on the DEMSO team helping protect the Texas grid. A lot of people were on the fence, and then when UKR started, most people were starting to get it, that things are definitely heating up. So if you do want your car to run after an EMP or a CME, this works for both. A Carrington level event happens. This will ground the signal from the EMP, multiple, in less than 500 trillionths of a second before it's able to fry your device, your car, your home, your RV, your generators, your solar system. They even make one for your ham radio. So they have a device for almost anything that you want to keep running after an EMP. Make sure to go over to marfooglenews.com/EMP to get $50 off per device. Not only that, if you wire this into your home, you will also get lightning protection. You'll actually get lightning protection for pretty much anything you wire this into. It is an amazing product. They are also mentioned in the EMP Resilience Report by the DHS, Department of Homeland Security of 2018, when they told every American that they should have 6 months to a year of food and water because of the level of the threat that this is. So it's something that if you have, again, it is a professional kind of solution to a looming problem that very well is years away from being solved. They are trying to harden the grid, but I believe we're only at like one county that's fully hardened. County, not country. marfooglenews.com/EMP. Every time you go over and purchase one of those, not only are you getting something that possibly could save your life, but you are also supporting our channel and reinforcing the growth of the channel. Thank you, everybody that has done so or will do so. Don't know how many events have to happen for most people to see the value in this. All right, and then let's see. Joseph, you are on live. What is going on?
Hey, Adam. How you doing, man?
What's going on? So you did it. It looks like you did another video on something here. Let's see. And
yeah, I did on something.
Debunk the Mandela effect. Bears with strange doorway portal. So I got the warning. I won't play the music here. So can you explain? And do you have some timestamps?
Yeah, I'll read off the timestamps. You can just pause it right at the start of the video or go to like 3 seconds, and you'll see these two images. And this is actually from Susan Donahue's Twitter. And, you know, Susan Donahue's pretty big Marfoogle fan, and, you know, Dex retweeted this, and I thought, so it's got these two pictures, and this is from a video that was, it was on TikTok. And so I looked it up and I watched the video, and I was like, you know, can we debunk it? So if you click to like 21 seconds, and if you want to click back and forth like 20 to 21, you'll see this squid from Trinity's video. You know, your moderator, Trinity, red or blue pill. Hi ho, Kermit the Frog here.
What was the timestamp?
What's that?
What was the Trinity timestamp?
If you go to 21 seconds.
Okay, 1 second.
And you can click from 21 to 20, and you'll see the squid kind of change colors when it's in the water and when it's out of the water.
Oh, what a trip.
See there? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so, you know how there's all this kind of video editing effects nowadays. Right.
Well, there's there's also a video on TikTok showing a science class where the woman takes clear water and she mixes something, and then as she's mixing it, she's holding it, and then in a blink of an eye, it's not edited, it's a chemical reaction where it goes from clear and you can see through the glass to instantly that color. It's like that, and I'm assuming it's something like that where they can mix a chemical in their body and change colors just instantly. They're absolutely amazing things.
In chemistry, that's called titration, where you kind of balance a solution that you make, and you kind of add like drip by drip until it's right about there. And you want it to, when you're trying to do the color thing, you want to add, you know, just enough drops so the reaction barely happens. Like if you get the full color, you did too much. But anyway, so this video, I was looking at this, and you can click click to like 38 seconds. And this guy has the book, and he walks through this doorway, and it looks like the title of the book changes. Like, I'm sure most people have heard about this Mandela effect stuff. And so as he goes through the door, it changes. And I have a clip of the video on my channel. And so basically, I don't know. I kind of think it doesn't, because before he even does it, he explains that there's this painting next to the doorway that he walks through, and it's like the painting has black eyes, and it's kind of like that, the Black Eyed Peas video that just came out, and I was talking about it. I didn't mention the black eyes, but it's just like that. And so I don't know. I think it's I want you to comment on it, Marv, and then.
Well, so I have to see the original video, but are you saying on TikTok he's walking through a doorway and all of a sudden it changes? I mean, it's obviously like do people think it's real?
People do think it's real. Let me see. You can click to, okay, so at 40.
Oh, weird.
At 50 seconds, you can see it with an A. And then at 46, you can see it's with an E. So 51, 46, and you can watch it change in the video. It's just like an instant, like there's no fade away. I mean, he does it a few times, and I kind of wasn't sure about one time, but I watched it in slow motion and all this. But anyway, I included a clip from. So I found this girl on Twitter, and we met online, and basically there's just kind of a fun clip with her and her friend in Vegas after that, and then I kind of talk about the clip. You can see my face if you click to like 120 or something. But
and by the way, I you said to ask the comment on the Berenstain. I always remembered the Berenstain Bears.
Right.
And it is Berenstain now, right? It's Berenstain. That's what they're officially saying it is now.
I haven't looked into the official thing on that, but like, the whole thing with people talking about it in the scriptures, like the Lord's Prayer and this and that, and you can look it up. You just Google, like if you Google like Lord's Prayer Mandela, it'll show you what translation says trespass against and what forgive our trespasses rather, and what version says forgive us our debts and stuff like that. And I don't know. And I actually had Dex send you a second video, and it's just kind of a follow-up on, you were talking about the secrets of aging unlocked with the amphibians. And I don't know if you have the link open, but I related it at like a minute and 5 seconds to Psalm 50, verse 11, because I was talking about this when the Secrets of Dumbledore movie came out, because I was looking at, the original text in Psalm 50 from like the Hebrew, and it seems like this could be about like the phoenix or the griffins. And anyway, if you click to like 129 or somewhere around there, you'll see I use this, or all right, 138. You'll see the B-52, but it's this clip from a Godzilla movie, but it's basically kind of relating to the Phoenix, and it's just this one's more of a fun video, and then I kind of go into if you go to like 159 or 2 minutes, the scene from Harry Potter, because people say this and that about it, but I really got a lot out of the Secrets of Dumbledore movie, and so I used this clip where they do the Expelliarmus thing. It's just for fun, really. But yeah, so you can check that out if you want. And
now, Joseph, have you?
I was looking at the show today.
I was going to ask if you saw the Umbrella Academy yet, and the third season of it.
No, but that every time I hear Umbrella, I think of the number
Zombies.
1, the Resident Evil movie, and number 2, the Firmament, because that's what the Umbrella represents, like in their secret symbolism, because they make it with the 8, the red and black or whatever, and it's like in the Book of Job, it talks about with the zodiac, and they call it
you need to watch it, because everything in it has symbolism everywhere, including in the newest season. There's things that you will just every second you'll be like, oh my gosh, there's one. They have the stars, they have these symbols in the third season in particular, and I won't ruin it for anybody that hasn't seen it yet. They have the black and white floors everywhere. I mean, it's just there's so many little things, and then in the actual script they talk about things. And every season, they're basically the world is ending for some reason. So if you haven't seen that show yet, I would definitely put the time in and look at the symbolism. I think there's a hidden message in it, and I would definitely think that you would be, out of all people, able to pick out all the symbols and look at all the crazy stuff. That is like, for you and the content you do, that would be months of content. Every episode has just creepy, weird. Oh, and then the last season, she basically treats this thing like God. This robot treats this thing like God and starts writing symbols on the floor. And I'm not going to ruin it for anybody else, but it's just, there is definitely, I think that Hollywood and a lot of the elites at the very, very top, there is just something just totally Luciferian about the stuff that they do, and you have to pay attention to it, and once you do, you can't stop noticing it. It's just creepy. But great videos, and of course, as always, we're going to include this over on the website. Thank you, Joseph. Is there one more timestamp that you want me to see?
Well, I did want to mention, if anyone goes to my channel, there's a fourth video where I talk about this music video from Neon from Twice. I mentioned it before, and that has the checkerboard symbolism and kind of relating it to the Taurus field. And at the end, I have a clip from Hebrew Scholar talking about kind of where we are in the book of Revelation, according to his research and this and that. But thanks so much for having me on the show. And looking for the next article, bro.
All right. Well, thank you again, Joseph Newhouse. If you guys haven't checked him out, he's closing in on 5,000 subscriber. Go check him out. His link will be over on marfooglenews.com. All right. Thank you, Joseph, and you have a wonderful night. All right. And then let's see here. Bam. Okay. Back to the news. We have UKR has lost more troops during the Vlad invasion than there are infantry in the British Army, defense expert says. So they have lost, supposedly, more troops than what exists in Britain's whole infantry. So that's kind of a big deal. It says UKR's military has suffered more casualties in the 4 months since Vlad's invasion than there are infantry troops in the British Army altogether. A defense expert said that there are 18,000 infantry in the British Army in 2021. And it says that a senior research fellow at the Royal United Services Institute came to the startling conclusion during a speech at the Rusi Land Warfare Conference on Tuesday, according to the reporters and attendees at the conference. It said the full scale of the Vlad and UKR casualties have been difficult to assess. Vlad officials have only confirmed 1,300 deaths, far below what even independent researchers have established based on funeral announcements. NATO reportedly estimated as many 40,000 Vladian casualties in the first month of conflict. which is that's bigger than some of the most famous battles out there. It says UKR has not released reliable figures for its casualties, but officials have made clear that the conflict in UKR's east is growing heavily for its forces, as Vlad artillery barrages have forced the UKRs to give up ground. Which again, now the media is going towards basically saying that UKR is not doing good. Just watch. Very soon, in the next few days, you're probably going to see a big chunk of money sent over because it's like they're winning, and Vlad is just a bumbling idiot when they don't need it. And then all of a sudden, when they do this, it seems like magic. A few days later, they say, "Wait, we got to send them money. They're losing," and then a huge chunk of change goes out that way, and then some of it flutters back into the pockets of politicians. Just assuming. All right, that went a little too long and a little too weird. But you guys get the point. And let's see here. Daniel O'Brien, thank you for the support. I appreciate that. Thank you, everybody that has just popped in. Retired U.S. Army. Again, thank you. Let's see, Dr. Casey, Nana of Montana. A big, huge thank you for last show. I appreciate that. And then, of course, let's see here. We've got P. Ben. Again, thank you. Let's see here. Virginia Prepper. Hey, what's going on? I'm glad to see you here. And if you guys haven't checked out Virginia Prepper, make sure to go over and do so. And then it says, let's see here. Ooh, this looks like a good one. Susan Donahue, on behalf of the Mormon Cricket Outreach Association. That was good, Susan. That got me. Marianne Spinelli. Susan, you must be a little bit behind, so I hope you get to this later. Thank you, Susan. I appreciate you. Always a pleasure having you with us again. Marianne Spinelli, thank you for your support. Bible Talk 777. All the world leaders are taking orders from the masters to depop the earth. It's a planned human demolition. It's part of the Great Delusion. Bible Talk, I agree with 99% of that. See what I did there? Virginia Prepper, everyone needs to check out the flight radar. A lot of military helicopters have been flying in the same place in Alabama over the past 3 months. And keep up the good work, Marf, Dex, and Mods. And thanks for the shout out a few videos ago. Virginia Prepper, no problem. The difference between the channels that don't end up making it, we watched Alaska Prepper go from, I want to say 2000, and I want to say he ended up being a part of the Foogle fam or watching when he was very tiny. But I know at the very least it was like 8,000. You know what he has done? He's just continued to be positive, continues to help people, continues to be consistent. When you really put it out there that it's going to work, it's going to work. And that's the difference. He is now at 154,000 or something. He is going to go past us. I believe he has the momentum to pass us, and I hope he does. He's genuinely one of the nicest guys out there. He really does care about people. He is the same on and off camera. None of us are perfect, but man, he's a good guy. And Jacob Israel, good people. Derek from Global Witness. There's people that are the same on and off camera, and those are some of the few ones. Gaia Watcher, thank you. Thank you for the right info. Nika Talaka, thank you so much for your support. I appreciate that so much. And everyone that is over on DLive. Carol McLean, much love for all you do. And Catherine Wilson and Bill Sachs. Awesome job as always, guys. Keep it up. Thank you, and thank you, of course. We have a lot of people popping into the live chat. Thank you, Cypher9, Mick Victor, Suzanne Gitz. We have Rose Pole. Thank you, DW Crabtree 2012, Renegade PD, Priscilla R. Thank you for your support. Arizona Ice Queen says, I really enjoy the show. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you, Arizona Ice Queen. We enjoy having you here. And then Vicky K, we've got Sierra 76, Noah A, and Jordan B. Bear. Jean Paul Baptiste just followed over on DLive. Espirito. And we have Gem modding, as always. Chance Paladin, great author, has science fiction novels of the end of the world. Very fitting for what we're talking about today. Great author. Make sure to go check out his stuff. All right. We are lucky to have so many talented people in our mods. All right, and then the media receives copies of intercepted conversations between Vladian pilots who launched missiles on UKR on June 25th. Dex, do you want to cover this one? This is obviously one more thing on top of the whole pile of stuff going on right now.
Hey, Adam, I'm working on a caller right now.
Okay, no problem. Thank you for doing that. It looks like we had... Oh, that's too bad. Looks like we had somebody drop. Either way, I'll cover this real quick. It says Belarusian journalist Anton Moltolko has published the intercepted conversations between Vladian military pilots and dispatchers on June 25th, when missiles were launched from the airspace of Belarus. That's the key part there. It says the Vladian pilots are discussing how they are launching missiles from their planes on the territory of UKR. They are also coordinating the missile launches and their course within the airspace of Belarus, first in the direction of UKR border and then back to their bases, airfields in Vladia. It says the intercepted conversations are those of the pilots who flew Vladian planes from the airfields in Setska, an airbase near Dubrovka, Bryansk Oblast, and Shevkovka, an airbase in Kaluga Oblast, Russia. Thanks to the interception, during which the pilots state their coordinates, it is possible to determine the place and time of launch of various missiles. In the attacks, the Vladians used Tu-22M3 boom boomers that took off from the base in Shaikovka in the Kaluga region, and Su-34s and Su-35 fighters that took off from Shesha Airfield in Bronsk. They launched X-32 and X-59 MK missiles at the territory of Lviv, Tekolom, Kyiv, and Cherniv. Now, you can actually access parts of these, and again, make sure to go over to the website to check out more on that on marfooglenews.com. And again, it looks like we were going to get the caller on here in just 2 seconds. Dex, is the caller ready?
Not yet.
Okay. So let me know. I'm gonna mute you out for a second. I do want to remind everybody, of course, about prep. If you do want to get long-term survival prep, make sure to go over to marfooglenews.com/prep. You can get long-term survival MREs that are all packaged up. Basically, you don't have to do any thinking as far as some of their food packages, like the 72-hour package that has 3 days worth of food. You can get a 1-month supply, a 3-month supply, bucketed and sealed, everything so you can, again, bury it, put it in your basement, do whatever with it, put it in your trunk. But also, it's all set up to where it's very easy to use, and it is set on a 2,000-calorie-a-day diet. It will keep you going for exactly what the time frame is that you get it. So they're really good, and they taste great. Not to mention, they are still the same price, as far as the prices on MREs and freeze-dried foods are raising rapidly all over the place. In fact, most smaller companies are completely out of everything, and most of the bigger companies are calling those smaller companies, offering them anything for their MREs. Why? Again, we don't know, but there are definitely there's a huge shortage in freeze-dried foods right now, and the supply is dwindling. So make sure to go over there, marfooglenews.com/prep. They actually have a great selection, and they have other things, gadgets, water filtration, air purification, iodine tablets. They have radios. They have all sorts of great first aid and medical stuff and survival books. Because remember, you may not have Google. All right, and then let's see. Let's go over back to Dex and
Adam, I can get him on now if you're ready.
Okay, we're good.
Okay, give me 1 second.
All righty. All right, I'm going to pull up his information here. It says, we have Carlos, first-time caller. Well, it's too bad we lost Marianne. I look forward to talking to you at some point. Transformers blowing and also military chopper sighting. It looks like we have a video. Awesome. I'll replace one with another. Let's see. And remember, all videos and pictures, documents, anything that we end up showing you here on the show will be available over on marfooglenews.com.
And Adam, Carlos is now live.
So, Carlos, I have pulled up the first video. It looks like in the very beginning there's a tree. By the way, nice to meet you, and it's nice speaking with you.
Nice to meet you, Adam.
Well, so what are we looking at here?
So basically, I was just driving, and I got, I've been watching you guys for years now, probably like 2017 or however long ago. And so, like, with simple things like that, I always just, keep my eye to the sky and pay attention to things that I don't believe in coincidences. So if I see things keep reoccurring, I always like to just, maybe take a document or a note of it. So on Saturday, I was, me and my family, we were going to Blairsville in Pennsylvania, and we were trying to go to a baseball game. And I had heard, like the thumping of a chopper, and I hurried up, got my phone, and saw this. Now I see these, I see a lot of military stuff lately, but I had kind of chalked it up recently because in Latrobe they had an air show. So I was like, oh, maybe that was in like the beginning of June. So I didn't think anything much of that because I got some videos from there. And so Saturday I seen this, and I was like, okay, I'll just take a video of it, no big dealy. And then just yesterday, I had gotten and seen a second one real close by where I live, and so I took the second video, and like I said, I don't believe in coincidences, and I was like, that's pretty odd, and so yeah, that's pretty much, they've like two of them within like 2 days span, pretty close together. I figured maybe something up with that.
So one thing to consider, too, is talk to your fellow Foogle family members. Everybody is seeing just extraordinary amounts of helicopters. Just like the comment earlier, people are seeing in Alabama helicopters for 3 months straight. They are definitely drilling and exercising, that's for sure. We know of some that are public and then some that are classified as far as there's been Foogle family members that said that they can't really comment on what's going on right now. But there are nighttime drills. There are exercises going on inside the cities. We know this because people are posting videos of things going on in downtown LA, downtown Phoenix, downtown Mesa, Arizona, downtown New York. You've got Chicago. You have Florida. You have Portland, Oregon. You have, I want to say Colorado, in Denver, Colorado. You have in Nashville, Tennessee. And these are military drills at night, some of them going from building. And I'll tell you this, when somebody catches a really good video, it's going to go viral right away because of the stuff that they say they're doing is urban. It's urban training. They're preparing for an urban environment, which obviously that's not a real great thing because they're not going out to the bushwhacks to fight, mud shelters. They're going to be fighting in urban environments.
Yeah, no, I agree. And like I said, I've been watching you guys for forever, big fan, and always been seeing stuff like that. And so anytime I get a chance to notice some things like that or whatever, I try to get a video of it. And to go into the second part, kind of like not to jump ahead, but like what also kind of goes with it. Another thing I didn't think was a coincidence. We had a bunch of transformers like blow up over here where I live, like fully blow up. And one was on, I want to say Saturday night, the same day that I saw that helicopter, and it happened in like New Ken, which like New Ken to Blairsville is like maybe like 30, 45 minutes. I'm sorry, maybe 50 minutes. And then Sunday night in Vandergrift, which from that to New Ken is 20 minutes, a transformer blew up there as well.
So you're thinking something fishy may be going on. You know that even if something was fishy going on, they wouldn't report it to the public. Like I've said, you've probably seen the NERC report said that there were over 700 events to our grid, and only 2 were public. The rest were reported to Department of Energy, but they were not publicly available. So they have the different categories, from somebody taking, a BB gun at the at a transformer to somebody driving into it to somebody making a homemade boom boom. All sorts of different things have happened to our grid. And one thing I don't understand is why that specifically is one of the most tight-lipped thing out there. Like, they do not talk about our grid. I think it's because of how vulnerable it is and how many problems they actually have. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. And I 100% agree. And I've been like I said, I've watched you guys, and to go back a little bit, like ever since I was kind of like even 13, me and one of my best friends, we used to like sit up on YouTube whenever you could see anything you wanted to, not all the restrictions and stuff. And we would just look up different stuff and different videos and all that kind of stuff, and always kind of question. And even from 13. And so like from 13 till now, and I'm 27 now, I've always had a question mark about everything. And so like, I've never just taken the full scoop of it all. And so like you said, with the whole, grid thing, I've definitely noticed it, like listening to you guys and stuff. That same Saturday, 2 different times there were power, like a quick blackout in Giant Eagle, right? Like 10 minutes from where I was, the power went completely off for like a second and came right back on. And then later on in that day, excuse me, when we came back from that baseball game, we went out to eat, and then we went to the mall right next to it, and there power went out for a second, came right back on.
Well, interesting to say the least. As far as the regional events that are happening all over the country, that's why we ask everybody to drop a comment or to let us know. If we're all kind of keeping our head on a swivel, we're all going to catch a lot of different stuff. So great job, Carlos. Right. And again, thank you for calling in. I'm going to play I believe there's sound on this, but I have to switch out. So I'm going to switch out for a second so we won't be able to hear you. So hold on. Maybe not anyways.
Adam, don't play sound on it.
Okay. Looks like it won't. It has blaring sirens. Okay. Well, the videos are available over on marfooglenews.com. Oh, yeah, I get why. Thank you. All right. Thank you, Carlos, and appreciate your call. It's a first-time call. Don't make it your last. And if you get videos like this, if you have videos like this from recent, please let us know. marfooglenews.com/playmyvideo. All right. And then Dex. Let's talk about the web only. We have some pretty crazy stuff over there, and we also have our giveaway.
That's right, Adam. So head over to marfooglenews.com and click on the thumbnail for the show, or open that description on YouTube and click on show notes. It'll take you right to this page. This is where you can enter for your chance to win the off-grid bag. Make sure you do that. I think we're down to 7 days, maybe 6 days. We're getting into the final stretch here. So make sure you get your chance to enter. Just go to the website, go to any one of the pages in the recent days or today's page, and you'll find the link. It's right here. If you want to just type it in, it's marfooglenews.com/giveaway. That'll take you directly to the contest so that you can enter to win a $380 backpack that's got full of Faraday components in it for your laptop, your phone, your key fob, and your tablet, and 2 days worth of pack. It's a great bag. So go check it out. While you're here, look at the rest of the story. Everything else that's going on that we weren't able to cover. You'll also have all the caller information on this page. But the one thing you don't know about is what's happening in that overflow section. Everything else. So a lot of stuff is going on right now around the hearings that were going on, and some meetings that went on today, and witness testimonies and tons of hearsay, multi-level hearsays about all sorts of things that happened during that. So you want to go check it out because there's a lot of information coming out there. Still covering stuff that happened with the Roe issue and some stuff in the news about what's going on there. Ghislaine was sentenced, so 20 years is the headline there. You can find out more details if you want. That was the final verdict on that. Some updates around craters found on the moon, specifically the ones that were from that rocket that apparently landed on the far side of the moon, or the dark side of the moon. And how they went about finding which crater it was. You can learn about that and a lot more. So everything else, political stuff, some stuff going on in the UFO space, even other things that we have covered before, but there's been updates. It's all there. So make sure you go to marfooglenews.com, click on the thumbnail for the show, or if you're on YouTube, open that description and click on show notes. It'll take you directly here.
And there are whispers of Hillary. So go over and check out tons of great stuff over there. Make sure to pop over to marfooglenews.com. Thank you over on DLive, everybody that has popped in so far. DW Crabtree, of course, Arizona Ice Queen, thank you. Just curious when we all check out Maverick Star Reloaded about the shift. I actually have, and I've mentioned him a couple times. No, I totally have. Thank you for the suggestion again, though, Arizona Ice Queen. And then also, let's see here. Terra Firma, thank you for getting a badge for the month. And then, of course, everybody over on DLive, including Derek McLovin, says, Confucius say, man who stand on toilet is high on pot. Kara Fusilier says, invest in Marfoogle TV. Great returns and 5 for the misses. Hey, thank you, Kara. I appreciate that. And looks like I did miss one person there. Let's see here. Derek, by the way, thank you so much. Over on DLive, I hope you guys are doing well over there. Irish Rebel, wow, thank you for the huge support tonight. I believe you are top supporter for tonight on YouTube. Thank you so much. Thank you for supporting Independent. Derek McLovin. Irish, by the way, I don't know if you ended up, if you can, send us an email at Adam@marfooglenews.com, and then also forward Dex if you did want to talk about what you were talking about previously. Derek McLovin, thank you so much. LAPD SWAT, do you think there will be a major event around the time, let's see, cuts it off, of the midterms? I think that's it. I think there always is on both in 22 and in 24. Which, by the way, they're already whispering about certain people, so we'll see. Yeah, not good. I hope nothing too crazy happens, but it's kind of a pattern. For some reason, I saw, just for whatever reason that popped up, is a car and sidewalk kind of stuff. I don't know why. It just popped into my head. All right, and then thank you, everybody that has hit over to this last week, headed over to PayPal. Thank you guys for your support. Thank you for supporting Independent. Christy T, thank you so much for your support. Sherry R, the Madco Group, I appreciate you. Franco, LLC, thank you. Caleb L, 3 City Cats, Stormy J, Chris G, Joseph C, Survival Living, which I have told him personally. I said, stop doing that. Thank you for the $10 donation. I appreciate that. Claire L, Mariah D, love the show. Keep it up. God bless Marf and Dex. Linda S, thank you, and thank you. Tracy Q, Dawn B, Eddie K, and Peter S. Thank you over the last month. I appreciate that. We really do. We really do appreciate everybody who supports like that. It's not required. It is much appreciated. Make sure to follow over on Twitter at Marfoogle. If you aren't over there, then you won't get the latest notifications as far as I send the notification out the second I go live. So if you are a caller and been trying to call in, watch for the notification over there from 6 to 8 o'clock. And when you see that, then start calling when it's a call-in show. I'll try to put the phone number on the call-in shows so then you know. But it's usually Monday news only. Then every other day it's call-in. So Tuesday, Thursday. All right. And then thank you, Dex, for all of your service tonight. Thank you. Appreciate you. And
much love. Great job, brother.
It is now time for the shoutro. It's not an outro. It's not a shout-out. It's a shoutro. Trouble from above that we can't stop. Trouble from a trouble from above that we can't stop. Trouble from a trouble from dum 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 dibby dum 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 dibby dum 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 dibby dum 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 dibby dum 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 dibby dum 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 dibby dum 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 dibby dum dum dum. Trouble from above that we can't stop. Trouble from above that we can't stop. Trouble from above that we can't stop. Trouble from dum 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 dibby dum 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 dibby dum 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 dibby dum 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 dibby dum 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 dibby dum 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 dibby. By the time 3%, thank you for your support. Susan, Donahue, gone up, drip that, and bony back, and bony back, and bony back, dip it up. EORD that I appreciate you. Oh no, I say I look. Marianne Spinelli, Virginia Prepper. Oh, everyone needs to check out the get out. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Dum 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 dibby dum 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 dibby dum 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 dibby dum 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 dibby dum 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 dibby dum 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 dibby dum 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 dibby dum 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 dibby dum dum dum. Trouble from above that we can't stop. Trouble from above that we dum 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 dibby dum 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 dibby dum 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 dibby dum 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 dibby dum 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 dibby dum 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 dibby dum dum dum. Trouble from above that we can't stop. Trouble from above that we can't stop. All right, let's make a new one. A new, fresh one. A fresh one. A fresh one. Let's see here. And then pull this one out.